No matter what she does, her voice keeps breaking on the high C. That's when the voice teacher walks over, grabs her by her long blonde ponytail, and yanks it back to straighten out her neck. Her eyes are wide. She reaches back to hold onto the back of her head. Obviously, it hurts. She was terrified. The voice teacher commands, "Sing it one more time." But yet again, her voice breaks. Disgusted, he releases her hair and says, "Now you know what you need to work on."
Ooh, let's go.
A few years ago, I was desperate to make more connections in the music community here in Austin. But even though I'd been teaching for a while, was a certified voice teacher, I still had a hard time finding students. My solution was to go out and network and meet other people that ran music schools and were in the music industry here in Austin. But it was a total mess. Most of the time, the local directors or school admins wanted nothing to do with me. Who was this weird guy who was volunteering to observe or even teach for free? But luckily, one of the best theater companies in town said that it would be okay for me to observe a class. I had no idea what I was about to witness. These were young singers that wanted to study musical theater in college but hadn't graduated yet. Kids pay thousands of dollars to be a part of this program. It's a class of about 15 students, and each student gets about a 15-minute voice lesson. The voice teacher is this young guy in his 20s that's really yelling at the students and really bullying them a lot. Now, there's no doubt that these kids are incredibly talented. After all, they've been singing for a long time. But because of that, the voice teacher has it really easy. I mean, you could give these kids almost any song and they'd still be able to sing it half decently. Despite how good these kids were, I could not believe what I saw next. This 16-year-old girl with this long blonde hair walks up for her voice lesson. Right away, things started going awry. He'd bully her by saying things like, "Well, let's see how hard you practiced today." She could sing the beginning of the song beautifully, but every time there was this part of the song with a high C where her voice would break. After each time, he'd yell at her to breathe deeper or to keep a straighter posture. Eventually, so frustrated that she kept cracking on the note, he walks over to her, grabs her by the back of her long blonde ponytail, and yanks it back to put her into the right position to sing in. But it didn't help. It just made her even more terrified. The whole time I just kept thinking, if he could just give her a bratty neigh exercise, she'd be able to sing that note beautifully. Neigh, 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 neigh. But we know he just totally gave up on her. This is the danger of having voice teachers that don't know how to help their students and their singers hit those higher notes without breaking. They try all the things that they think should work, all the gimmicks that you see in the movies, like, laying on the floor and feeling their belly move or crawling around and panting like a dog. But all it really takes are some simple exercises like you see in this video. Click here for 15 fantastic exercises so you can nail those high notes.